Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blood, Sweat, and Fears podcast. We are approaching the new year as of now when this episode comes out. We're recording them beforehand, but fuck it, I'm just trying to seem like I know what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's Christmas season, and I've just got back from Christmas shopping. I'm joined once again by Alan J. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. My voice is almost back, and my set at Hot Water is on YouTube, and one of the comments said the word gay 4 times. That pretty grand.
I have seen the comments. The Hot Water Comedy Club comments can be quite brutal, but don't beat yourself up about it, mate.
Oh, I'm not. I don't care.
Good. And joining us today, we have one of the most fabulous moustaches in the Scottish comedy scene, a very good friend, great comedian. Please welcome Chris Thorburn.
Thank you for having me.
So good to have you here, man. I know you're a massive movie buff. You've got a show coming out at Glasgow Comedy Festival all about movies, so it was only a matter of time before we got you on this podcast, man. Welcome to the madness.
Cheers for having us. Yeah, I'm lucky. Managed to get in early. And there's still good classics still to be we'll give it a couple of years, but when we're scraping the barrel of okay, who wants to do Piranha 2?
Well, I've chatted about this with Amanda yesterday when we were gigging at Material Girl / Guy, because it was a guy's one. But because we're getting her in for It, hopefully chapter 1, and then she was just like, chapter 2 is shite. It's going to be so hard for us to find someone for It chapter 2 for this podcast.
Oh man, that. Yeah, because I love that first It. It was I was like, this is really good. This is you've made a horror film that feels like an event again. It's got it feels old school. It feels like old school Spielberg, where at the same time, it managed to get all the balance just right, and then that second one just absolutely fucked it.
Yeah, although there is a nice reference in It Chapter 2 to the movie that we're doing today, because Bill Hader at one point looks at the Eddie head and goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding." Because we're talking about John Carpenter's The Thing, which every time I watch this movie, I always say to myself, why do I not watch this more often? Because it's just fucking perfect. And this is your first time, Alan, seeing this movie, so...
When I see a lot of films from the 80s, 90s, a lot of the time it's kind of I can see why this was really great, but times kind of, dumbed it, but this was excellent. It reminded me of that same experience when I saw The Matrix, just kind of expecting it to be this was cool for the time, but I was mesmerized. I barely have any notes because I was just wow.
This is just so.
I thought it was fucking great.
And Chris, what about you? What do you like about The Thing?
I mean, so I think from my money, it's probably John Carpenter's masterpiece, and that's a difficult thing to say, because he's one of those directors that you've got a handful of. I mean, I know folk love Halloween. Halloween's obviously great, but I don't know. I just think it manages to. It manages to be this big, wild, gross special effects spectacle kind of thing, while at the same time being really I don't know, it's got a bleak nihilism to it, and it's so it's so kind of just, what's the word? It's just really pared down, just it's not fucking about. It's just, yeah, as you say, every time you watch it, you're like, God damn it, why don't I watch this more often?
You sounded like me trying to tell someone about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because I've not just seen this song. I went and did some bit of extra research for this. So yesterday I listened to an audiobook of the novella that is based on Who Goes There by John something. I can't remember the guy's name. All I know is that he was a writer in the 30s and 40s who was probably racist, and it makes a lot of sense, because this is very clearly Lovecraftian influenced by how the monster looks, who was also a massive fucking racist.
Yeah.
Do you know what his cat was called?
Yes, and we're not going to repeat it on this podcast.
But you can look it up.
Yeah. HP Lovecraft was not a nice man, and also this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think all of the work that has been adapted from Lovecraft's works but changed has all been better than any of his original work, because I've read some of his novels, and everyone always they just raise Lovecraft as this great guy because he describes monsters as being oh, you can't even describe it. What a way to get out of fucking describing your monster, you fucking hack. HP Lovecraft. Yeah, I'm fucking coming for you.
Like John W. Campbell, and it came out in 1938.
Yeah, like the golden age of sci-fi. So like a lot of big sci-fi novellas came out around that. I think that was like when War of the Worlds was really big. Fucking Day the Earth Stood Still and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They were all big around this time. And the thing... What I love, you don't only get just the really great creature design, but the intense paranoia you feel almost, I think, elevates it beyond just being like a creature feature. And isolation in horror, I think it's one of the hardest things to pull off. But see, when you do it really well, it's one of the most frightening things you can imagine. Like, that's why The Shining works. That's why, like, Alien works and why this works. Although, if we're comparing this to Alien, I think this movie's more along the lines of Aliens. It's got that kind of action-y vibe to it as well. Like, did any of you by any... You probably wouldn't have, but did you play the PS2 game of this movie?
Oh, I never did. Like, I because I've heard really good things about it, but I never played it back at the time. Like,
it's just like a Resident Evil clone. It's class. Yeah. And like, I know you've played Resident Evil. This has got a lot of vibes to like
that's
a Resident
what I was going to say.
thing.
I feel like the Resident Evil... Have you played many of the Resident Evil games?
I played the first couple back in the day.
I feel like a lot of the monster design when they become big blobs is probably very inspired by The Thing.
Yeah.
Like all these gross things with the eyeballs and the fucking dog heads.
Yeah, and another one there, we got knock one out for the dogs. We lost a lot of dogs in this movie.
Let's not say knock one out for the dogs.
What is it? Pour one out for the dogs.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's been a long
we
day,
all
man.
mourn in our own ways.
Yeah, because like I remember the first scene of the novella being like just gets you right into like how the spaceship crashing on Earth, but the movie doesn't open like that. You just see a husky enjoying itself running across the snow being chased by a gunship. I'm like, imagine that scene but edited to the Benny Hill soundtrack.
On that poor wee husky.
Huskies are the best dogs. Are you guys dog fans?
Yeah, I got a dog. Yeah.
What's your dog's breed?
So I got a Springer Spaniel. So not scary or intimidating or anything.
Do you know if you hit a pug on the head, its eyes can fall out?
I didn't know that. No.
Did you know that?
No.
Completely irrelevant. No, I've never had a dog. I've always wanted one of those wee Japanese ones. Is it a Nikita, a Shiba?
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are absolutely bloody adorable.
The one from the meme, the ones.
Yeah, that one. That wee cutie. I forget the question, but yeah, dogs, man.
Yeah. And something I do love about this, setting character up really early on, you can tell like the sort of mindset of all these guys hanging out in this Antarctic base when you see Kurt Russell's character lose a game of chess to a computer and he just pours whiskey down it. I mean, I get it. Like Sekiro and fucking Demon Souls are quite hard games. If you think I'm pouring whiskey on my PS5 that I had to queue in a Sony queue to get, you're fucking mad.
You've never broken a controller or anything?
No, because controllers are expensive. And I don't want to have to go up to my mom and be like, Mom, the controller's broken. It's like, what did you do with it? Yeah, we were playing Mortal Kombat again. There was a Japanese kid online. He was just so good at playing it. And we've got another controller lost. Oh god, nothing will frustrate me more than having to play Mortal Kombat against people who are like fucking trained in playing Mortal Kombat. I think I'm usually pretty good at it, and then this one guy just like one kills me while playing Shao Kahn. I'm like, fuck this. That's why I prefer the horror versions of the Mortal Kombat. They've got a lot of like horror killers in those now. If they got the Thing in there, that would be fucking class.
What version would you pick? Or would it be that kind of cop-out one that just imitates all the other ones, but they just look extra gross?
Yeah, I feel like all the imitations would be like special moves. Those would be the fatalities.
Yeah. So like who do they currently have now in Mortal Kombat? Like,
they've had Jason, Leatherface, the Alien, Predator. There's rumors of Ghostface for the new one.
Nice.
I would love for them to get Chucky or Pennywise as well. Like Pennywise would fit right in a fucking Mortal Kombat game. But I know the human centipede is not going to be in a Mortal Kombat game, Alan. I don't want to know what its fucking fatality would be.
Just get all of the roster of characters and just kind of leading them around on a wee leash. Feed her. Instead of finish her, it'd be feed her. You've seen it, haven't you? Because I remember the first time I spoke to you, you said it's not that good.
The human centipede. Yeah, the first time we met, and you're like, okay, listen, human centipede, where do you stand? Like, are you?
I'm wondering how many times I've met someone for the first time and I've been like, so human centipede.
See, if the Thing tried to imitate you, Alan, I think we'd know right away. It would just be hitting out with all the human centipede facts. It'd be like a chat GPT thing trying to write all the human centipede fan fiction.
Well, I did do that once on that train. I said, give me a human centipede joke in the style of Uncle Roger, but
yeah, don't
probably can't say that.
I think it would have a hard time imitating you though, Chris, because it would be really hard to imitate how good that mustache looks. The minute we see like a fleck of something that doesn't look quite right, we know that's not as groomed as Chris's mustache.
It's just me, or does Kurt Russell kind of look like you put a beard on a baby? I couldn't stop thinking that when I saw him, because he's got those lovely wee blue eyes and he looks like it's a wee baby face, but then he's just got this big luscious hair and this amazing beard, and it's like, you look like a filter.
Yeah, like it's clear, like he's tried to, you know, play against like type and that one, like, you know, like try to tone down the charm and everything. He's got like, you know, and like grow the facial hair, look gruff, but he's got just like those perfect like blue eyes and like the perfect skin. You're like, come on, man, like you're like still flawless.
Beautiful.
You know what? If I had a list of top 50 actors that I would get a bit busy with, Kurt Russell, I think, is definitely top 5. He is a handsome man, and like he looks good for his age now. Like I mind when he was the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He still looks great.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that you said be in the top 5, but you said if you would do a top 50 list, which means you have already thought about this. Who are the other 49?
Of actors.
That's a special episode. That's a Patreon.
Just load up the instrumental to "We Didn't Start the Fire" and go.
You know what? Fuck it. Top 50 horror killers that I would happily spend a night with.
Where would the human centipede doctor be?
51. He's not making the list. I think Billy Loomis would be number 1. I don't know if the Thing would make it on there. I mean, technically the Thing can be all of them, so that could create some great foreplay. I don't want to shag the Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing. Just going to put that out as a disclaimer.
Depends who it's imitating.
Hey, if it's imitating fucking Dane DeHaan, I'll be all over that. Another thing I need to mention, just because we can get in, Ennio Morricone's score for this film is fucking incredible.
Yeah, like and so I could have this wrong, but like I'm sure like there was a whole draft that like went out the window, like because they wanted something a bit more pared down, and yeah, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, like I imagine it's him looking at John Williams' theme from Jaws, like, oh, that's 2 notes. I'm gonna get them scared with just 1 note.
Yeah.
And like I think the score, like the essential theme, like the sort of boom boom thing, it's almost like, to me, it feels like a heartbeat that's trying to mimic a human but doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah.
Which very in line with what the monster in this movie is doing. Like,
did you read about that, or is that just something?
No, I'm smart.
That's like, a very astute observation.
I used to study music.
I know,
school.
But wow. Yeah, I don't think many people would have picked up on that. Dean.
I spent a lot of weekends not without any friends, just listening to music scores and watching movies. I had a lot of time to think about this stuff. Yeah, because like the things, it's not a horror film I've watched a lot, but every time I do, I always notice something new with it. So like, I feel like it's one of those things that's got great rewatchability value, because you're almost looking back and seeing like, oh, who's acting a little bit weird, who's the monster in this scene, and like. This movie also launched a ton of parodies, like that thing they do with the blood and like heating it up. I've seen that on South Park. I've seen that on Family Guy, The Simpsons, and stuff.
Do you guys know someone called Lee Hardcastle on YouTube? Does these amazing like stop motion claymation stuff.
And did the one with Pingu?
Yeah,
right. Pingu. Yeah.
Also did another thing parody with Frozen as well.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember what's the name of the old guy. He's like, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
I don't know the character's name, but he stood out on my watch for this tonight.
Oh, I have watched that clip about 1,000 times on YouTube before I've actually seen the film, because I love that line so fucking much.
In context of the movie, did it make you laugh, or were you like, yeah, I get you?
They made me laugh. Let it out, King.
Because like the gradual sort of transformation of this monster, you don't even really get an idea of what it is. You just know it's an alien. And for the longest time, because this movie has that poster of like the fucking diver looking guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a Scooby-Doo thing. Like, remember that fucking Captain Cutler's ghost from Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a monster that looked like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think it is that in the 50s one, the Thing from Another World, because this is a remake of that movie. But apparently in that one, they took out a lot of the paranoia stuff, and it was just like one dude playing a big alien monster who was just chasing after all of them. Apparently the most dangerous film that was ever made, because this is the 50s. They don't have CGI. They're throwing a lot of like fire on this stuntman, and then they're just pouring live gasoline on him to make the fire worse. And you can actually see the fear in the actor's eyes as he just runs out to the snow to put it out. You could not get away with that nowadays.
No.
You also couldn't get away with making a new Thing movie nowadays, because I saw that prequel back in 2011. It was not good.
No, and it's that came like at a weird point, because that was sort of like a handover between like I think like right about that time you had other films like they did like that remake of Total Recall that nobody remembers with like Colin Farrell.
All I remember is Bryan Cranston was the villain in it.
Yeah. And it's like taking all these like and like sort of like remaking them kind of like, oh no, this ain't your daddy's Total Recall or something like that. But then like then you felt like the sort of tide turning like a little shortly bit after like that Thing remake, you'd get it to a point where it's now the legacy sequel, the reboot, where it's like, you know, oh, don't worry, we're doing this proper, this is for the fans, we're going to do this correctly. And that Thing movie's trying to sort of live in both worlds, because it's like, okay, it's sort of a prequel and remake of it, but and it's a bad idea, but the guy making it clearly has a lot of love for the original and wants to do it right. And you can see on YouTube there's like special effects trials of like animatronics and like prosthetics that they used, that the studio then went over like with a bunch of like CGI and stuff like but like like the film that they got was an absolute mess, and I don't think it's a good idea, because you're not going to top the Thing, but like it was clearly somebody trying to do right by it. But I just think you can't match it, you know.
That guy got his own kind of release the Snyder cut thing during 2020. They all want to release the director's cut of his Thing prequel, but because no one remembers it didn't get the media coverage that the Snyder cut of Justice League got.
What's the setup for the prequel? Is that like before it got frozen?
I think it's like the Norwegian camp that's like chasing the dog in the beginning.
Is it Norwegian?
I don't know if it's in Norwegian. No, I think there's some Norwegian dialogue, but I don't know. I saw it when I was 13.
Yeah, you've still got like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's like part of the crew, and
Joel Edgerton, I think.
Aye.
So not very Norwegian.
No, not very Norwegian. No.
I always thought the 2011 one was the remake of the 80s one, but the 80s one is a remake of something from the 50s then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an adaptation of the novella from the 30s.
Aye. And like the 2011 one is sort of, as you say, trying to have its cake and eat it too. Like, it's technically a prequel, but it's called The Thing. It's being marketed to people who have never seen The Thing. You know, like it is for all intents and purposes a remake as well. Yeah. Like,
and it came out at a wrong time as well, because 2010's horror was very focused on the found footage element.
No, sure.
Yeah, like, although a found footage version of The Thing I would watch.
That's an angle. Yeah, like
I miss found footage horror.
I think it's due a renaissance.
What, the 2011 one?
No, the found footage genre.
Yeah, I reckon there's a couple of things that could definitely work in found footage. Like I was saying to you on the Gremlins episode, imagine like a found footage Gremlins film where in the third act the Gremlins get a hold of the camera.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Like, you can use the medium well. It's just like people relied on it too much for aesthetic rather than like actually using the found footage as an element for the story. Like, it really works for Blair Witch Project and like Chronicle and Paranormal Activity, but then when everyone's just doing it because people are doing found footage, that's when the genre like gets oversaturated, and then breaks out, and like you see that a lot now with like there's a lot of movies that are trying to do the Get Out formula and not doing it very well.
Aye. Did you ever see Dashcam?
No, what's that?
Yes.
Oh, like it's I really liked it. It's it was very divisive, and I completely get why. It's the same director that did Host, the sort of Zoom lockdown Shudder like movie.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And this was like the person's follow up, and it was quite shortly after it, because again it's still very much like set in like COVID world. I thought it was great. It's like, again, found footage. Like some folk hated it because like the main character is really annoying and unlikable, but it worked for me. It's a really good use of like found footage, because you do always like face that thing with like a lot of found footage films of. And Chronicle gets around it really well, of just like after a certain point, why the fuck do you still have the camera? Put the camera down, you know. Like, whereas Chronicle, it's just like, oh, he likes the attention, and also they can make things like levitate, so you don't need to worry about who's carrying it. So you're kind of able to go for a more traditional camera, like it by that third act. But But no, like a found footage version of The Thing, that would be good. Yeah.
I was very surprised because I volunteer in the Glasgow Film Theatre, which is known for being quite kind of posher, more indie films. So I was surprised they showed Dashcam, and there was a couple of times I just saw people coming out like, what a lot of shite. I enjoyed it though, but the main girl was very kind of like one of those kind of stereotypical right-wing Trump persons. And it turns out she's exactly like that in real life.
Yeah, like, you know, because you're like, who is this actress? She's doing this. Oh, she's really like this. That makes it even more interesting.
Her next movie is going to be with the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Actually, we sidetrack. I saw a trailer for a Daily Wire film yesterday, and it looked fucking garbage.
Oh, the basketball one?
Lady Ballers. I'm like, what the fuck? Nothing like this happens in women's sports, you fucking idiot. And Ben Shapiro just looks like a little fucking dweeb, and I want to punch him in the face.
Oh, is that the film company he started?
Yeah. I don't think they've ever had like a good film. Like, it's Ben Shapiro, can you just fuck off?
Would it be wild if they made a really good one though? And like, you know, just like, guys, I mean, like this one's got no politics in it. It's just a car chase movie, and it's really fucking good.
Ben Shapiro's The Thing would be more in line with the novella's actual views, like the author has. Because I did read a thing that apparently the guy who wrote the novel, he really loved the idea of segregation. Like, he wrote essays and shit on it.
Oh man, I mean, it's like, as you said, that kind of classic sci-fi paranoia kind of thing. Like, they live amongst us. We don't know. And like, but you can sort of, the paranoia for this is what really makes it work. Like, if this was just a creature feature, it might have gotten forgotten, but I think that's what's made it stand the test of time, because you see a lot of because mixing the whodunit element with a monster movie's never really been done before this. And like, even with the 50s one kind of losing the whodunit thing altogether, like, I don't know if there's been many imitators of The Thing, really.
You've articulated, I think, a big reason that I liked it, because it does kind of, you're kind of like, oh, who could it possibly be? But it's also not like a whodunit as well. It's like
who
one of the monsters is the person. Yeah.
Yeah, like a sort of like, you know, body horror take on like Agatha Christie kind of shit. Like, I am. Well, yeah. So I'm trying to think, like, because it's got that paranoia kind of element to it, like, you know, like the kind of, if you talk about like, you know, like any imitators, I'm trying to think, no big ones. I mean, like, you've got like, there's that episode in like season 1 of the X-Files that is very like,
it's The Thing.
Yeah, and like, it's just, oh yeah, we were very much inspired by The Thing, and it was just like, yeah, well,
it's just the X-Files doing The Thing.
Yeah, you've kind of ripped it off, like, because
David Duchovny's even trying to be like Kurt Russell in it. Like,
yeah, and this is like at a period where, like, you know, because the Thing wasn't actually a huge success, and so like,
it was
spent
like
a while
panned when it came out.
That blew my mind, like, because the idea, it's not even like it was divisive, it was just slated, and it's I can't understand why? Because like it's not like John Carpenter's come out of nowhere. This is already the John Carpenter that's had a great career so far, made Halloween, made all these classic films. Like we're right about the same kind of period where David Cronenberg's doing The Fly and people are loving that. What I don't understand what turned people off this film so much. It's not even that it like did badly at the box office. The critics just fucking savaged it. Like,
well, it also came out the same time as E.T. So like you've got this really nice friendly alien movie in the cinemas now, and then you've got this fucking thing.
Yeah, that might have been one of the things that put people off, because they wanted a nice wee happy friendly alien in drag, and instead they got fucking this hentai. Yeah.
Because like I have a hard time with one scene in this, because like I want to look away but also I can't because it's so well crafted. But when it's just still the dog and it's assimilating the other huskies in the kennel, and you see all the dogs getting freaked out and trying to escape, such a well done scene. Like it's so suspenseful. Like credit to those dog actors, they convinced me. They should have a dog category at the Oscars just for those dogs.
One thing I remember reading about this film a very long time ago was that the creature isn't actually evil, it's just kind of scared.
Yeah, just trying to survive.
World. And I was kind of trying to keep that in mind the more I watched it. Like, because the dog does seem quite scared, you know, and it's just, if I woke up and there was 5 angry men surrounding me and I was just there on my back, I would also be terrified.
Yeah.
You're doing that thing with your eyes again, Alan. This is just exactly what our friendship is, honestly. Like, do you guys reckon you would keep your cool if you were in a position like this? If you were an Antarctic scientist, do you reckon you'd handle yourself all right? No, you wouldn't.
Wait, when you say in this hypothetical situation, has a thing even been introduced yet?
Yeah, there's a thing coming in.
Okay,
we'll pretend it's like a new comedian who's just caught off the fucking circuits coming in.
Right. Because like
stealing all our jokes.
Well, I'll be honest. Like, were you watching it this time before any of the bad shit goes down? I'm looking at the setup and I'm like, this is pretty fucking sweet, you know, like that like they've got a chess computer, they've got a pool table, they've got cards, they've got a bar, they're just, you know, smoking fat dubs all day, like drinking whiskey out of the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow, you know, like it's like,
oh, I would not want to encounter that monster while high. I took an edible when I was hanging out with Darren and that after one of his gigs, and I think I convinced myself that the dinosaurs were coming back and we all had to prep ourselves for it. I just spout utter nonsense when I'm high.
Right.
It's fucking hilarious. I've seen what you're like when you're high as well, and it's quite funny.
Sick. Yeah, I took an edible the night before we recorded in here, and I had to watch Tusk. And
Tusk.
And I got like 20 quid worth of McDonald's, and my brain wasn't telling me that I was full, and then I just came in and I was like, don't puke. So yeah, go watch the Tusk episode again and have fun with that.
Because we got both you and Daniel on that, and Daniel already sounds like he's high when he's not. I love you, buddy, but yeah. Oh God. Well, there's other stuff I need to mention before we get to true or false, but like there's so many good things in this, it's like I don't know which one to go for.
Yeah.
Fuck it. The final battle with it, because you sent this guy Blair away, who you don't quite know if he's just gone a little bit stir crazy or if he's the thing as well.
No.
And it's just like building this UFO to get home.
Yeah. No. What the fuck was that? I was like, aliens? I was like, did the thing come here in a UFO? But no, it's just some wee crazy guys just trying to get away.
It's like it has all those like weird action one-liners that I really dig in like 80s movies as well, like it just roaring at Kurt Russell and him being like, well, fuck you too. Like that guy is just so effortlessly cool. We should all aspire to be a bit more like Kurt Russell.
Those cute little eyes. Going back to like the critical reception, are there any like films that have been panned in the past like couple of years you think are going to get a critical reevaluation?
Not necessarily panned, but I remember when Crimson Peak came out, it wasn't very well received, and I thought it was fucking genius when I saw it.
Yeah.
That might get a reappraisal soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is there any you can think of?
I don't know, because like I feel like folk are a bit more savvy now. Like they've got, well, critics are anyway. Like in terms of yeah, you never really see a film get properly misunderstood or something like the way that
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah,
I think that's like the best version of the Hulk there's ever been on film. Not in terms of how he looks, but in like the way the Hulk is as a character.
Yeah, like and also like I don't know, you're so used to like superhero films being incredibly safe these days. Like and like
I've seen the Marvels as well, Chris.
yeah, and there you've got a film. It's making a lot of choices. Are they all good? Who fucking cares? like all the ideas are on screen, and yeah, like take me back.
Yeah, I miss when films had that ability to just like throw really massive ideas out that weren't sanitized by a focus group.
Sure.
Because I can imagine a focus group watching this and being like, oh, do we really need all of the body horror? Like they would take that scene out where he's trying to defibrillate the guy and then it turns into a giant mouth.
Oh my god.
Which is so fucking cool.
Yeah, we need to start talking about the really gruesome stuff in this film. Like, holy shit, I was not expecting that. I thought maybe like defibrillate and maybe go like, I did not think his arms were going to go inside his fucking belly and get them bit. The way it just keeps surprising you with how fucking gruesome it is. And it goes so gruesome and gross, but it never feels like it's too much or that it's being disgusting for the sake of it.
Yeah,
It
like
hits that
Cronenberg
perfect
can be
spot.
a bit guilty of that. Like I love The Fly, but there are elements of that where I feel like he's going over the top with the gore.
Sure. Yeah.
Because like, if have you seen the original Fly, like the Vincent Price?
Oh
one?
yeah.
Where it's just like a shitty costume made of cardboard, and then now with Jeff Goldblum, it's just like fucking. Oh yeah, his nails are falling off. He's fully transforming into a fly. And Cronenberg got a little bit carried away at some points. I still love that movie, but. That exists, but with the thing, I do feel there's a right balance with it. Like it's just gross enough, just scary enough, and just cool enough. Like,
No. On you go.
One thing we spoke about recently was I find the stuff that really gets me wincing is the things that I could find relatable. So for all the gross stuff that happens in this film, the bit that really made me uncomfortable was when he's slicing the thumbs.
oh yeah,
Oh.
scalpels I don't like. Like if I have to ever get stitches, I'm terrified.
Well, it's similar to like I forget which of the Jackass movies it is, but like they've been through so much, they've done so much wild shit, and still the worst that the audience responds to is just when they're giving each other paper cuts. Because you know a paper cut. It's so wild. They're just in a room with a sheet of paper passing it around, and it's like the hardest bit to watch.
I feel like that's the reason a lot of companies have decided to go paperless. It's not because they're trying to be more environmentally friendly. It's paper cuts. Like imagine working in an office and you're under a deadline, you just writing paper out and that. Like, so many paper cuts have been reported this week. How do we crack down on this? Oh, people think paper is environmentally bad. Ooh, this will save us. Someone should definitely make a movie about that.
Getting rid of paper?
And like, I don't know, there's a paper monster that keeps giving paper cuts to people. I could see that being like an SNL sketch or something. Like,
did you ever play those Infamous games?
yes.
No.
Like, it's like big event, everyone gets like power based on an element, and then in the PS4 1 Second Son there's a fucking side mission where someone's power is literally paper. Like, she just turns into it and flies around as a bunch of sticky notes. Whose fucking idea was that?
I wouldn't mind that as a superpower. Like, I can fly. People can draw stuff on me. I can rub it out. Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
You can defeat rocks.
Yeah.
Why is he not a Fantastic Four villain? Just like, just like, no, none of the rest of you. Just between me and Ben. Me and Ben, you.
Fuck Doctor Doom and the Mole Man. They've got paper, man. This is why
like the Thing, Ben Grimm's just like this fucking guy again.
Oh yeah, who do you reckon would win in a fight? The Thing from this movie or the Thing from the Fantastic Four?
Is that the big rock man?
Yeah.
All right, okay. The Thing.
Well, which Thing?
Oh, right. Good question.
Ben Grimm is the
Leave it
Thing from the
ambiguous.
Fantastic Four, and this thing doesn't have a name. Should we give it a name? Fucking
Ben what?
Ben Grimm is the one from
Barely know
Fantastic
him.
Four. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, he's done it again. He's done it again.
See the doctor in this that they lock away because he's gone a bit fucking nuts.
Yeah.
What's with it? Like, was he planning on hanging himself? Because I noticed there was a noose. Like, did I miss something or was that for something else? Because like it was very low down.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it might have been like, oh, that's just his next case scenario if they don't let him out. Because think about it, if they permanently think he's the thing, they're not letting him out of that.
No.
So it just shows you like the isolation and the cabin fever of the movie as well. Like, I always get this whenever I watch this movie, right? See, if I could watch this, if I watch it in summer, I feel cold. Yeah. I don't know if it's like my body responding to seeing all the snow in that, but that plus Ennio Morricone's score and just how isolating it is, very few movies can do that to you. Like, I think Jaws is the only one that's managed to do it to me. Like, when you feel dead, isolated with Quint and all that on the boat. The Thing also kind of, like, I can tell it's... Because I think Jaws is the one that spawned a lot of imitators. Like, Alien is Jaws in space. Yeah. Like, Halloween is Jaws in a suburb. The Thing is Jaws in Antarctica.
Right.
Jaws has a lot to answer for, and I'm grateful for it.
I definitely enjoy watching things like this in winter. I find it so immersive. Yeah, like it's a weird thing I found with me. Like every winter, I love to play things or watch things that are set in those kind of cold, wintry settings.
Definitely. Like the last time I'd watched this was it was like either January or February of 2021, and so it was like the novelty of lockdown had long worn off, and we were still in it, and we had that big fucking blizzard. Like, it was like pure snowy for like several days, and it's you're still in winter, like, Christmas tree and lights are all gone. Like, it's bleak, and like, and you're like, right, I've got an appetite for, I just want to be watching like cold, snowy kind of shit like that. Yeah, and that was kind of like the perfect time to watch it. A few years back, they did a screening of it at the ski slope at Bray Head as well.
You were telling me about this yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool as fuck, but also after a certain point, you were just like, yeah, I'm just fucking cold. Very good, very good.
And you can't have a nice fondue at that Antarctic base like they have in Bray Head, or a hot chocolate. Yes, I know it's bougie, Alan, but I'm fucking going for it.
In your Tory foods.
Also, fondue is overrated. It's just hot cheese and like vegetables and stuff. Like, I don't get why it's considered a bougie thing.
Oh, I was thinking of fondant. I am fat.
All right, we got any true or falses for this?
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
I'll say these and you can guess if they're true or false. Okay. If I can get through a full sentence. When asked why there were no women in the movie, Carpenter said, "The way men and women react to high-stress situations are polar opposites. We wanted to explore the specific ways in which 10 masculine men would handle being trapped together, and having even one woman in the facility would have dramatically shifted the energy," but he wouldn't elaborate further.
I think that's true. That feels something like an 80s guy would say.
Yeah, that sounds like Carpenter. Yeah.
No, bullshit, I made it up.
Wow.
Sorry, John Carpenter.
But think about it, like if you had women there and they're like, "Oh, with no blood, what do we do?" "Oh, it's our time of the month, perfect."
I reckon they'd probably solve it way faster than the guys as well. There wouldn't be as much like, "Oh, I should be the leader" stuff going around.
Sure, yeah.
They would solve it a lot quicker.
Work together. So Ridley Scott was originally approached to direct the film, but turned it down due to commitments on Blade Runner.
I'll say yes to that because Alien is also very similar to this movie. Probably doesn't want to repeat himself.
Now I know that I know that Toby Hooper had like been with it for a while.
Oh, that would have been way more bloody and gruesome.
Yeah, let's say true.
No, that was bullshit as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, you got a lot of falses today.
Although, like this one, that blew my mind. This came out the same weekend as Blade Runner.
Yeah. Fuck. And both got panned. What the fuck were they smoking back then? Anchors. 3. The film was banned in Finland.
Do they have a lot of snow in Finland? I'm trying to think of a reason it might be banned in Finland.
Too much.
This is a misrepresentation of our country.
I would say false.
True.
That is true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was banned in Finland. Couldn't really find why, but fucking get a grip, Finland.
They like things in Finland.
Of all the films he's made, John Carpenter has stated that this is his favourite.
I'm going to say true.
True. Yeah.
That one is true.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mind him really not enjoying his time making Halloween because they were forcing him to like get up at 7 a.m. to film a slasher. It's like, it's fucking 7 o'clock in the morning. We're a bunch of kids. I haven't even had coffee yet.
Halloween is one of those films I was talking about where I watched it and I was like, yeah, this was amazing at the time, but you've seen the tropes just done over and over so many times as I feel like
it's the first of its kind kind of thing.
Yeah. And finally, the autopsy sound effects were achieved with paper towels soaked in egg yolks, which sounds like something you would eat.
Go have a protein.
Don't you judge my souffles, you dick. I'm going to say true for that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That's true.
That one was true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of weird stuff they do in sound systems. So, you know, when you hear rain in a movie now, it's the sound of bacon frying.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how they create the effect for it.
Huh. You ever seen a film called Barbarian Sound Studio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's like smashing watermelons and stuff to get all the sound effects.
The dude who played Dobby the Elf's in that, isn't he?
Is he? It looked very different if he was.
Toby Jones, that's the actor's name, yeah.
Oh, was he
Arnim Zola
Dobby?
in Captain America as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised we never got a second one because you never actually find out if he gets his travel expenses. So what's the name of the old guy again who was tied to the couch?
I can't remember the character's name.
Yeah, like the only characters' names I remember are McCready and Childs. Like,
yeah, because they're the only ones left at the end.
Why would you call someone Windows?
Oh yeah, Windows. Yeah, Windows.
I see right through you, Windows. I know you're the thing. God, that felt like one of your puns, Alan. I hate myself now.
No, 'cause it's like they were shouting about Windows, and I'm like, what, are they scared it's going to come through a window? And then it turns out, no, he's actually called Windows. That.
To be fair, have you ever opened a window in like freezing winter? It's the worst. My brother insists on doing it whenever he goes out for a smoke, and I'm just fucking frozen in the living room. William, do better, you dick.
Oh.
No. I feel like Windows was probably like, you know, way back at the start of their mission, you know, it was an in-joke from the first week, and they were just like, hey, he's Windows, and now all the fun's drained out of it. Like,
Bill Gates actually financed the movie. Because like I think the ending of it is so bleak because you think they're fine, they've killed the monster, they've got a lot of fire to keep them warm, to be fair, but just McCready and Childs looking at each other like they don't know is one of them the thing now, and it just ends on a really, really bleak note. But I don't know, like I want to see a sequel to this movie.
So what direction would you want it to go in? Like, what would you want to see?
I would love to see like maybe there's a remnant of the thing left over, almost like a Venom symbiote kind of thing, and maybe someone else is going to investigate it, like maybe do a report on it or something. You could link into the whole YouTube thing of people trying to solve like conspiracies and stuff on the internet. Someone goes there, you see like the bodies of McCready and Childs, but turns out maybe none of them was the thing, and they both just killed each other out of fear. I
do love that, like read for the end. That is like neither of them were the thing, but like the paranoia's just fucking killed them now, and it's like that cruel kind of. I love like just like an ending that's just like got really ironic and cruel, like like the one for The Mist, like I won't ruin that for anybody who hasn't seen it. But
hilarious.
It's so like, oh my god, like that's like I love to recommend that film anyway, but like a large part of that is just down to that ending. Have you seen The Mist?
No, not yet.
So that'll no doubt come up on this pod at some point. It's just got very. I love the ending.
I can't remember what it was, but I swear I saw something else that was about assimilation recently, and it got me thinking about Akira. And then I saw this. Yeah. And, I don't know if maybe there was some inspiration going on around there, but I know that
quite possibly, yeah.
Just this started as a book, and I know Akira was a manga. I don't know what came first, but
I think Akira was out in the 90s. I'm sure.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably just a case of like similar thought patterns, I guess. But like, it shows just how influential this thing is. Like, there hasn't been, I think, a monster movie on this level, like ever since the thing came out.
No. And it's, I don't know, like, I don't know if you could even get back to, like, because I mean, it's a great film anyway, but a large part of it is like this sort of special effects showcase, and I don't know if you could do that now because you know they certainly wouldn't let you do practical effects, and just doing this on CGI, like it doesn't have the same draw to it. You're not like, you look at the special effects in this, and it doesn't even matter if they look realistic or not. You're transfixed to them. You're like, okay, how was that put together, and how is this like? And when it's not tangible, you don't really have that element to anymore. You know.
Yeah. Also a good use of making a flamethrower a cool weapon.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the best use of a flamethrower in any movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Home Alone, but you've lost the list on that now. You're the second on it. Which also is set at winter. Oh god, Home Alone and The Thing, if that became one movie, that would be fucking amazing. Be a lot better than that reboot that came out on Disney Plus. Just Kevin has to stop The Thing from entering his house. I feel like you're in deep thought there, Alan.
No, I completely forgot what I was going to say a minute ago. What were we talking about before Home Alone?
The special effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, does Hollywood think like the appetite for like realistic like special effects has died down? People
I think it's
want
more
CGI,
a case of CGI is easier to do in post-production, and like actually making animatronics and puppetry and special effects takes a lot of work that they'd rather not pay for. They'd rather use the budget to get big stars, which I think is a problem that the MCU has had.
Oh yeah,
they're spending all their money on getting like massive A-listers to be their villains and their supporting characters, and they're forgetting about like the actual love of the movie.
Oh yeah, like considering we're now at a point where like, you know, films, especially films like in Marvel, where like there are scenes that are shot on green screens and sound stages that, like, and props are being CGI'd in, props that don't need to be, but it's just because that takes you away from like you then don't need to work with unions, like, and you don't need to pay like, you know, workers in that regard. So that's to get fucking Samuel Jackson in a chair holding a gun in a regular room. That's before we even get into like shape-shifting aliens or anything like that. Like it's grim, it's bleak.
There was a film that came out I think a year or two ago that was all practical effects called The Mad God.
Oh yeah.
I've not seen that. Is that good?
I thought it was excellent. I got to see it on the big screen as well, and it was just like beautiful.
God, what's his name again? The animator that did it.
He worked on Star Wars, didn't he?
He was on Jurassic Park, I think. Maybe Star Wars as well. Yeah.
Similar, same company, isn't it?
It was directed by Phil Tippett.
Phil Tippett, yes.
What a great name.
Yeah. That's because there's that meme, because like I think his credit on Jurassic Park is like dinosaur coordinator or something like that, and like there's the meme of like, you had one job, Phil. but Mad God's really good. It's just like wild claymation from like start to finish.
Because you see a lot of those movies try and get made now, and they usually struggle at the box office. Like there was that one Wes Anderson tried to do, the dog one.
I Love Dogs. Yeah.
Oh, that one was. That's his worst film. Sorry, I love Wes Anderson. I love his films so much, but yeah, like
I'd love to see a Wes Anderson version of The Thing.
Oh yeah. Well, did you see? It was years back now, but Saturday Night Live. Like it was before Wes Anderson parodies had really become hack, and it was like Saturday Night Live did like a horror film directed by Wes Anderson, and it was great. Like it was they like. It was the week that Edward Norton was hosting, but Edward Norton is playing Owen Wilson in the trailer, and like they actually got Alec Baldwin to do the narration like he did in Royal Tenenbaums. But like yeah, it's and the thing is like you look at that now and you're like, yeah, that's an A24 movie.
Well, so this is going to be quite hard for me because there's not really much in the way of kills in this, but there are like really spectacular death scenes, and like,
yeah, are they really kills? Because if someone is the thing, is the person actually dying?
I think it has been killed. Yeah, so I guess we'll go for like favorite use of the thing in the movie. Like what scene? I just had a favorite kill. I've got to go for the guy on the defibrillator. That's just such a shocking moment.
What, like the guy who's getting defibrillated, or the guy who gets his hands bitten off?
The guy gets his hands bitten off. That's a really great death scene. Because also he shoots a guy in the head who's not the thing, and that just adds to the paranoia.
Yeah.
But he was kind of a dick, and he was going for him anyway, so self-defense.
Had a scalpel, and I hate scalpels. Sorry, Daniel.
I'm gonna have to go with the head that comes off and then like sprouts legs. That's just
God, I'm fucking kidding. The Last of Us 2 needed a moment like that.
Oh yeah, that's another one that's got all the big blob things as well.
Yeah, because that's very influenced by Resident Evil.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the guy's head opens and then he grabs the other guy's head and then the fucking guy's just like swinging about. His like feet on the roof, just getting flung.
Sweet, we've all picked different ones.
Yeah.
In the comments, you can decide which
really
one is
good.
the best. And bring us on to the...
So there's also the old guy who just gets his face fingered.
Yeah.
Like, do you even see him die, or is it just, or is it just being assimilated?
I think just being assimilated.
Oh, that was disgusting.
That's going to change things in the bedroom for you, Alan, I bet. Because this is some thing role play.
I got my fist in my mouth one time, but I've never been able to do it since.
I wouldn't recommend it. So how many big pumpkins are we going to give this?
Are you giving it?
I feel like I've got to give it 5 big pumpkins because it's the perfect version of what it is. I don't get why it was critically panned in the 80s and it stood the test of time perfectly.
Fuck it. 80s and your stupid haircuts and your stupid reviews.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, I'm giving it 5.
5
I love
big
it.
pumpkins. Yes.
5 big pumpkins.
Yes! We finally have our first perfect score on Blood, Sweat, and Fears.
Yes.
This is a great day.
There is nothing wrong like about this movie that I can really think of. Like, I don't know, it was like 3:30 when I finished watching it, and I thought, oh, was that it? When he like threw the dynamite at him, and I was like, no, that was pretty epic, and then it was just that very, like you say, kind of, what was the word
Bleak.
you used for it? The bleak ending. Yeah, just amazing. Oh god, the lighting and the sets as well. I didn't even really get into that, but it's just beautiful. Like, there's something about flares in the snow.
It looks so cool.
It's amazing.
Horror movies at wintertime are the fucking best. But I think that'll more or less wrap us up. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. This was great having you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Anything you wish to plug?
Yeah, and what are your socials as well?
So I've got the Glasgow, by the time this episode comes out, the Glasgow Comedy Festival show will be on sale. I'm doing my Fringe show from last year, Cineman, jokes about films. We're doing the GFT. So like if you enjoy films, which I have to assume if you're listening to this podcast, you must do, then like come along.
You're doing it at the GFT?
Yeah.
How? Like, as in...
How
does that work?
So we're just doing it like in one of the screens because it's like the show uses a lot of projection, like projector screen anyway, and so
I'm gonna see if I can get the volunteer shift for that then.
Yeah.
And Alan, anything you want to plug besides our? We've got our show coming up at the Glasgow
Yes, we
Comedy
do.
Festival
We
as well.
have Scream Queens with Kyle Samuel, and that will be on the 17th of March at Van Winkle West, 4:45, and you can buy tickets now for only a $5. Come see us. Come love us. And if you want to follow me, it's Alan J Comedy, wherever.
And you can always follow me at Dean T Byrne. That's BEIRNE. And how is it pronounced, boys?
Biryani.
Thank you. And you can follow the pod at BS Fears Pod on Twitter, at Blood, Sweat, and Fears everywhere. And we might have a little something extra at the Glasgow Comedy Festival regarding this podcast. Details to be announced. Watch this space.
Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Afterwards. Thanks so much for watching again, guys. See you next time.
Tease. Woo. Bye.